Hello, everyone. Another film that is celebrating its 55th anniversary release, and appropriately so because of the recent passing of Robert Duvall, is the movie in which he starred in called THX 1138. Now, this is a movie that was directed by George Lucas, came out in 1971, and this is a movie that was developed from the student film that George Lucas worked on while he was at USC in the late 1960s. And this movie was, I believe, the first movie produced by American Zoetrope, which was the production company that was founded by George Lucas and Francis Ford Coppola. And this movie here is a dystopian film that takes place, I believe, in the 25th century and takes place in a climate and era in which totalitarianism has taken over. Fascist governments reign supreme, and humanity is stripped of its individuality, stripped of its uniqueness. And this movie centers around the Robert Duvall character who is battling against that, or at least within himself and as well as externally. It's been several years since I've seen this movie, but this Blu-ray specifically came out in 2010, and I'm very surprised that this movie has not received some type of remaster or restoration because I think it's about time. I mean, this is a bit of an older release. This was put out by Warner Brothers, so I feel like they are primed to do it. And like I said, it is the 55th anniversary. Also, it's a movie directed by George Lucas, one of the most well-known directors of all time. Obviously doing Star Wars. What is interesting about this movie here is there's a documentary on here about the early years of American Zoetrope. So you get to see kind of a first-hand account of the trials and tribulations of trying to work within the new Hollywood system back in the late 60s and throughout the 70s, and how things didn't go so well for American Zoetrope. They had this film which was a bit of a not didn't do well at the box office, as well as American Graffiti. What really saved American Zoetrope, I believe, was the success of Francis Ford Coppola, with, of course, just a string of films. The Godfather Part Two. He wrote the screenplay for Patton, which really helped out a lot. So it gave him a little bit of sway to keep American Zoetrope afloat. There's also a great documentary in here about Walter Murch, who I think is one of the best editors of all time, and he worked along with American Zoetrope, and he had an illustrious career as well. Truly one of the great craftsmen of all time when it comes to movies. So if you haven't seen THX 1138, give it a watch. It's an art house sci-fi film, so go in there knowing that.